Perhaps the term Feng Shui has already become very familiar in everyday life. From building a house, buying land, arranging a bed, to matters of business and money, many aspects of life are said to be connected to Feng Shui. But hearing the term often is one thing, truly understanding Feng Shui is another. The more people hear about it, the more they tend to fall into two extremes. The first is believing in it absolutely, and the second is dismissing it entirely because they think it is superstition. So, what exactly is Feng Shui? And is Feng Shui really something vague or superstitious that people have simply made up? In today's video, we are going to explore where Feng Shui originally came from and how it is different from superstition. Now, let us begin. Why does Feng Shui become more talked about as society becomes more modern? In an age defined by technology and rational thinking, the growing popularity of Feng Shui reflects a deeper human need to regain a sense of control over life and find stability amid the intense pressures of modern living. Life in the 21st century moves at a relentless pace, often leaving people mentally overwhelmed and emotionally drained. At that point, Feng Shui is often seen as a philosophy of harmony between heaven, earth, and human beings. It focuses on restoring balance in the flow of energy within a living space, helping reduce the negative effects created by stress and uncertainty in a constantly changing world. Part of its appeal also comes from the desire to nurture life through the environment we live in. Instead of decorating homes purely for aesthetics, people increasingly aim to design spaces that attract positive energy, prosperity, and well-being. Feng Shui principles, such as guiding natural sunlight, considered a source of yang energy, and managing the movement of wind, help keep a space fresh and balanced, which can support mental well-being. A home filled with positive energy can become a place that restores both body and mind. This becomes especially important in modern cities filled with dense high-rise buildings. Feng Shui offers practical ways to improve spaces that might otherwise feel cramped or restrictive. Issues like limited light, blocked views, or stuffy air can be improved by adjusting orientation and balancing natural elements. With thoughtful adjustments, even a small apartment can feel more open and welcoming, allowing fresh energy to circulate and creating a sense of stability and comfort in the middle of a busy city. Finally, in a highly competitive society, many people also see Feng Shui as a way to attract opportunities, improve luck, and support prosperity. For that reason, Feng Shui is often used as a method to reorganize living spaces so that life may flow more smoothly from the ground up. In this way, a home becomes more than just a place to live. It becomes a meaningful environment that reflects personal identity and preserves traditional values in a rapidly changing world. However, to truly understand Feng Shui, we need to step away from modern interpretations and return to its original roots. Let us look back at the earliest human experiences to see where Feng Shui truly began. What is Feng Shui, and where did it come from? Number 1. Origins and evolution. Feng Shui is an ancient system of knowledge that originated in China, focused on studying how energy, often called qi, influences people and the environment around them. The roots of Feng Shui go back to the earliest days of East Asian civilization, when survival was humanity's top priority. Archaeological discoveries at the Banpo village site, part of the Yangshao culture, show that as early as the Neolithic era, people were already choosing places to live based on local climate conditions, favoring locations protected from strong winds and close to water sources. At that early stage, Feng Shui was purely practical, a collection of lived experiences meant to protect human life from the harsh forces of nature. A major turning point in the history of Feng Shui appeared around 4,000 years ago during the time of the legendary Chinese ruler Fu Xi, with the emergence of the He-Tu diagram. Observations about nature gradually developed into a more structured philosophical system, through the ideas of yin and yang and the five elements, with the I Ching serving as the central intellectual framework. From that point on, Feng Shui evolved from instinctive behavior into a structured body of knowledge that blended mathematics, philosophy, and observation about how the world constantly changes. Over time, Feng Shui continued to develop through several important stages. It expanded from determining house orientation and burial sites, known as yin dwellings, to planning complex architectural spaces, known as yang dwellings. From the Tang dynasty to the Ming dynasty, Feng Shui reached a peak of theoretical development with advanced techniques such as searching for the dragon vein, identifying the energy point, and determining the optimal orientation. Scholars also studied the shapes of mountains, rivers, and the movement of energy across landscapes to locate places where beneficial energy gathers. Number 2. Core Theoretical System. The theoretical foundation of Feng Shui is built on three main elements: yin and yang, the five elements, and qi. Together they form a framework for understanding how different forces interact within living spaces. The concept of yin and yang describes two opposite forces that constantly complement and transform into one another, creating balance. An ideal space is one where these forces exist in harmony, where opposing qualities support life, much like the natural rhythm between day and night or the changing seasons. Inside a home, yin represents stillness, softness, and quiet spaces, often associated with bedrooms or secluded corners. Yang represents movement, light, and warmth, usually found in areas like entrances, hallways, or windows that receive sunlight. Ancient thinkers believed that every living space, much like a living body, requires balance. A house that is too large and empty can create an excess of yang energy, causing energy to disperse and making residents feel restless or unsettled. On the other hand, a space that is too enclosed and lacking natural light may accumulate excess yin energy, which can lead to feelings of heaviness, hesitation, or lack of motivation in daily life. True prosperity, in this view, comes from maintaining a balanced interaction between light and shadow, movement and stillness, so that both health and personal success can grow. This dynamic continues through the theory of the five elements, where all things are categorized into five forms of energy: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Each element carries specific qualities, directions, and symbolic colors, and they interact through cycles of generation and control. The generating cycle describes how elements support one another, such as metal producing water and water nurturing wood. The controlling cycle ensures balance by limiting excess and maintaining order within the natural system. In practice, applying the five elements involves carefully adjusting spaces, for example, using the earth element to create stability or the water element to encourage prosperity in favorable directions. Connecting all these principles together is qi, the most essential concept in Feng Shui. Qi is considered the invisible force that links the universe, the earth, and human life. It is constantly moving and influenced by landscape, orientation, and the arrangement of spaces. For that reason, many Feng Shui practices focus on what can be summarized in four words: gathering and preserving energy. The goal is to prevent energy from being scattered by wind while guiding its flow so that it benefits the people living in that space. This interaction appears throughout daily life, through the orientation of a house, the colors used in a room, the layout of a workspace, and even personal habits. When people understand how energy moves, they can adjust their environment and lifestyle to create greater harmony, helping the body recover from stress and building a stable foundation for long-term prosperity. However, because Feng Shui has become increasingly popular, it is also more easily distorted or misunderstood. That is why it is important to clearly distinguish authentic Feng Shui from superstition disguised as Feng Shui. Distinguishing Feng Shui from superstition. Many people still wonder, is Feng Shui just superstition? In reality, That question often comes from confusing the idea of optimizing living spaces with deceptive practices meant to exploit people. Some dismiss Feng Shui as a scam because they have never encountered the real body of knowledge behind it and only see distorted versions on the surface. Authentic Feng Shui is actually a specialized form of environmental and geographical study that focuses on managing the flow of qi to support human life. When examining a property, a Feng Shui practitioner typically considers 4 key factors: the shape and features of the land and surrounding roads, measuring orientation with a Luopan compass, balancing yin and yang and the 5 elements, and the interaction between the homeowner's personal energy and the house itself. Adjustments such as guiding wind flow, identifying points where energy gathers, or arranging interior spaces are based on natural patterns of energy movement and environmental balance. These practices are meant to support vitality and well-being, and they are separate from spiritual rituals or charms. Superstition, on the other hand, is blind belief in mysterious forces that ignore natural laws and place one's fate entirely in supernatural powers. It appears when Feng Shui becomes exaggerated or mystified through practices meant to manipulate fear, such as abusing talismans, spirit rituals, or fortune-telling. Some individuals misuse Feng Shui by convincing homeowners that expensive ceremonies can completely change their destiny. One of the most common distortions today is the commercialization of Feng Shui objects, where people are told that certain symbolic items are meaningless unless they have gone through special rituals. In reality, this often becomes a psychological tactic that turns a system of spatial understanding into a business of selling luck and fear. Once we clearly understand the difference between Feng Shui and superstition, we can see that Feng Shui is fundamentally about creating harmony between people and the spaces they live in. This perspective also opens the door for applying Feng Shui principles in modern architecture, helping improve energy flow and bring a sense of calm to families living in fast-paced urban environments. Applying Feng Shui in modern architecture and daily life. In rapidly growing cities, Feng Shui can help homeowners reconnect with natural energy even within compact living spaces. A well-designed house should align with the surrounding landscape, with the main entrance acting as the mouth of energy, where the primary flow of qi enters the home. Keeping this area open, clean, and well lit allows positive energy to move smoothly into the main living space. Color choices and building materials are also often selected according to the supportive relationships of the 5 elements. For example, using wooden furniture in the eastern area of a house is believed to encourage vitality and support the health of family members. In narrow urban homes, Feng Shui often guides how energy moves through enclosed spaces. Skylights frequently serve as the central point of the house, connecting energy from above and below to create a continuous exchange of air, light, and movement that reduces feelings of confinement. Limiting heavy partitions can allow energy to circulate more freely, much like the flow of a river, preventing stagnant energy that may affect mood and comfort. Feng Shui also suggests using reflective materials or indoor plants to soften sharp corners and bring fresh energy deeper into the interior. These techniques use physical form to influence energy, helping the home feel lively and connected to the natural environment. In modern life, practicing Feng Shui is often a combination of precise measurement, using a Luopan compass, and an understanding of the homeowner's lifestyle and needs. Rigid formulas are rarely applied exactly the same way in every case, because each person has a unique life path and every home has a different orientation and environment. In essence, Feng Shui is about intentionally shaping living spaces to create harmony and long-term balance. By understanding how light, air, and spatial direction interact in a home, people can manage the energy around them more effectively each day. When a home is arranged thoughtfully, it becomes a place of support and restoration, helping residents maintain their health, stay mentally clear, and handle life's pressures more calmly. In that way, a well-balanced living environment can also support lasting prosperity and financial stability. If you have any questions about Feng Shui related to homes, land, or the arrangement of living spaces, feel free to leave them in the comments below. We will explore and discuss those topics together in future videos. Goodbye for now, and see you next time.